Ever been stuck on an English GCSE question and thought, seriously, what does this even mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, don't worry, because I can guarantee someone else has that exact same question, and those are exactly the kinds of questions I'm going to be answering in these videos, because this is my 5-minute fix series of videos where each week I take one of the best questions my students have asked and break it down in just 5 minutes, right? No overcomplicating, no waffle, just straightforward answers to help you make sense of it all. So whether you're here for a quick tip or just to see if I can explain this without messing up, stick around and let's make English a little bit easier. So this week's question is about English language, the exams, and how you can revise for it. So a lot of people sometimes ask me, like, how can I revise for English language? Because it's pretty obvious with literature, really. You need to know the texts, whether it's the poems or Shakespeare or 19th century novel, whatever it might be. You need to know the text kind of inside out, like really, really well, if you want to do well. And you need to learn quotes for those texts. Pretty straightforward. You need to know how to put them into a particular essay, and then that's kind of it. Like, you're ready to go. Just see what the question is on the day. English language, people find a little bit harder because they say, well, I don't know what the texts are going to be, so they're unseen, so I can't revise the text. That's true. So if I don't know what the texts are, I'm not learning any quotes. True. And then they'll go, so I can't really prepare for it. I just have to turn up and deal with whatever they give me on the day. Yeah, that is true. But there is so many things that you can do to help you revise. For example, like number one, you have to know the mark scheme for your exact exam board, for your English language paper, inside out. You've got to learn it. That should be your revision. The night before the exam, you should literally be sitting down where you've written down on a piece of paper, say, like, all of the mark schemes for each question, and you need to revise that. Whether it's an AO1 question, identify and interpret information. Whether it's an AO2 question, analyze language and structure and the effects on the reader. Whether it's an AO3 question, compare ideas and perspectives and put some techniques in there. Whether it's an AO4 question, whether it's evaluate text critically. By the way, all of those assessment objectives, won't matter which exam board you're doing, they are all the same for English language. You've got to know those. And not only that, you've also got to know, like, okay, how do I deal with each of those questions? So another thing that you need to revise, which would be my second thing, is you need to revise your paragraph structures for how you would tackle each of those questions. Because every question is going to have a different paragraph structure. It's going to be determined by how many marks is it worth? Therefore, how long do I have to spend on it? If I've got, a 20 marker, it's going to be several paragraphs, which might be a very particular structure. If it's a 6 marker, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be completely different. And you've got to learn all of those different ways of structuring an answer depending on the question that it is. Also, depending on those assessment objectives, like which assessment objective question it is, that's also going to determine what needs to go into your paragraph. If it's an AO1 question, which is identify and interpret information. Let's say it's language paper 1 question 2. Language paper 2 question 2 for AQA. It's so hard because there's so many obviously different exam boards. But okay, so that's a compare question, comparing two texts. You don't need techniques in that. In fact, you definitely should not put techniques in that, because if you know the mark scheme for that question, you know that there is no language or structure needed, right? So in the paragraph structure for question 2 on language paper 2, AQA, you need to not have techniques in it, whatever your paragraph structure looks like. I mean, I can go through that with you if you want. Just let me know in the comments below. You should have a particular way of answering the question, which should not involve techniques. You need to know that on the day. So that should be part of your revision. So the night before, here's what you should do. You should have worked out what is your assessment objective for each question. You probably should look as well at the mark scheme and find out what are the bullet points, like what are the things that the examiner precisely says about that question, how to get level 4 or level 5 or level 6, whatever it might be, depends on the question. You need to look over that the night before. And then the second thing you really need to do is you need to look over, how am I going to tackle each of these questions? Also, how long do I need to spend on each question? That is actually something that you can revise as well. You know, if it's an 8 marker, you need to be finishing it in 9 minutes something, 9.5 minutes basically, if you don't have extra time. If you do have extra time, you need to have worked out and factored that in. Okay, how long do I have for each question? This is all stuff that you can revise. And what you're revising is your exam technique here. That's basically what you're doing, because you're right, you cannot revise quotes for a language paper, but you can revise your exam techniques. That is really what I want to get across today, because that's what I'm saying to a lot of my students at the moment who have currently got their English language mocks for year 11 going on. And they're all asking me the same or telling me the same. They're always saying, oh yeah, but you can't revise for English language. And I'm like, yes, you can. And those are my 3 things that I think you can do, which is revise the time, revise the mark schemes, and revise your paragraph structures, how to tackle each question. If you found the video useful, thank you so much for watching it. First of all, if you did find it useful, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you've not already subscribed. Leave a comment below if you have any questions. And apart from that, I will see you next week for the top question of the week, and I'll fix it in 5 minutes. See ya.